So this is my first video with X marks the spot, and it's all these videos I'm gonna upload into the playlist called X marks the spot that has to do with active treasure hunts, treasure hunting legends, places you may be able to go gold pan, or places you may metal detect, and just all things that's treasure hunting. To include armchair treasure hunting, which is what we're gonna talk about today. So I'm going to start out by introducing the individual. It was actually pretty cool. I got this idea, and as soon as I started, reaching out to people I know and saying, hey, this is something I want to do, I've actually had a lot of feedback and people wanted to do this. But this is my first one, and I'm going to start out by introducing her. So her name is Linda Spaulding. Hopefully I'm saying that right. And she resides in San Jose, California. And as you can see from her sick face mask and the art behind her, she's into The Secret, a treasure hunt. And if you haven't heard The Secret, I'm actually going to give a little intro. And she actually is super into the San Francisco treasure hunt, because if you know anything about where San Jose is located, it's pretty close to San Francisco. So she can get out there, get boots on the ground, as they say, do a little bit of exploring, and kind of figure stuff out. So I'm going to jump right into this. So as you can see, I drew a little arrow here. This is the cover to The Secret, a treasure hunt. The book I have actually has a little bit of a different cover. This one's like really, really nice looking, and my book's a little more beat up. But essentially, the author, Byron Preiss, went around the United States and, let me turn this brush on, buried plexiglass boxes that contained artwork. And inside this artwork, he put like a little key, right? And if you were able to, solve the mystery by reading his poem and deciphering it, and then looking at the image associated with the poem, and finding these boxes, you could turn the key in and get a treasure. With San Francisco, the lady in the image is wearing a pearl, so a lot of people think that is the treasure that you'll get if you solve the San Francisco mystery. So I'm next going to show you some imagery that was provided by Linda. And first of all, it's real nice. So this is the image. This right here is the image that's in the secret book. So if you buy the book, you'll find an image that looks like this. And this image, everybody, I don't think anybody's arguing it, is the one that's associated with San Francisco, because you have the bay here, and also the middle of her dress is Golden Gate Park. So it's, if you look at an aerial view of that, the park looks exactly like that. And there's other stuff that has, it's not really disputed. So she was nice enough to kind of go around and point out features in this artwork where she thinks, okay, hey, for instance, I have high post 3 here, and she kind of sketched it out, which is cool. She has Stonewall's door here, which also she shows Justice here. And she provided this image on the right of this. And I'm going to point out why she's like, hey, this line right here is this right here. And to start out with, I don't want ink all over the place. So right here we have this image of Alcatraz, right? Which she says, hey, this little outline here is Alcatraz, if you can see it. And then she's showing, hey, look, we have this high post 3, and she kind of shows how it looks like a boat. And if you look behind this CVS pharmacy that's right here, you have 3 posts. And when I jump over to Google Earth, I'll actually show you guys what this looks like and how relatively close everything is. But just take a second and look at Linda's imagery here. If you're into this treasure hunt, maybe you've seen this before. Some of these may not be disputed, but one of the really, really cool things that she sketched out is right here. And it's this outline. There's one on the left and one on the right. And I'm just going to kind of whoop, 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 whoop. And you see how it makes this weird, almost like one of those old gangster S's or something. She provided an image to show what she's talking about here. So if I scroll over to the right, you can see you got the same thing going here. Boom, boom, boom. You have this one. I think this is the east one. There's an east and west one. And then you have this one over here, which is actually oriented a little different. And if you look, you got boom, boom, bam. And it mimics this. You have one speaker tower. That's what these are. These are actually pretty cool if you ever make it to Aquatic Park and look at them. These are speaker towers, and they used to, big speakers in here. They'd run a cord out, and they could talk to people in the bay right here, boats doing different events. And, it's really cool to see, like, they would put so much effort into a structure like this. But the line she associates it with is sounds from the sky, which is a line in the book. If you have the book, and you can actually Google a lot of this without getting the book, but I recommend getting the book. It's actually a really, really good read. But she's showing how these speakers right here are, sounds from the sky, which I think I 100% agree with. Are very obvious. Now, if you've never seen these speakers or you don't know anything about the treasure, you're like, that's not really that obvious, but it really is. Speaker towers, sounds from the sky. And she has other stuff here she points out, which we'll cover when we get to the Google Earth. She also provided some of her own little notes, and this is the poem associated with it. This is something she just put together real quick, but basically this poem in the book is associated with this image. So I'll look at it in a second so you guys can really take it in, but from this point, I'm actually going to now open up Google Earth, and I'm going to run you through why she thinks it's in an exact spot, which is really, really cool for this hunt. So I got to open up Google Earth here. That should do it. And this is actually, you were looking out in the water here. And let me scroll around a little bit. So to get you a reference of where you're at, this is in San Francisco. This was one of the speaker towers here. I could get in pretty close to it. As you can see, there's one speaker tower she showed here on the right with that CVS pharmacy she pointed out. And the speaker tower over here. It took a second to load. Let me make it bigger to make sure I'm circling it. This is the Aquatic Bay Museum. They used to get up on here and talk to the people in the bay. And then what you have here is Ghirardelli. So I'm just going to do this step by step. I showed you some of the images she thinks that are important with this hunt. And I'm going to run you through her thought process, which I think is probably one of the best, thought processes to maybe finding out where this treasure is buried in San Francisco. So the first two lines are, where the air smells sweet. It's Stonewall's door, the air smells sweet, right? And what she thinks is this Ghirardelli right here, which is a chocolate / ice cream place in San Francisco that's historic and been there forever. If you look at this Ghirardelli, it actually has a bunch of doors on it. Boom, 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 boom. And she thinks that the author was doing like a play on words. So the Ghirardelli, the air smells sweet and the brick wall, it all has doors. So when you have the line at Stonewall's doors, right? It's stone walls, doors. She's saying these are multiple doors, and you actually got it over here on this part of the building. So that's her start point at the Ghirardelli Square, right? And then in the next three lines of the poem, she's looking around and she's like, okay, what's here, right? So if you look across the bay, and you can kind of see she took that picture standing right here in front of the Ghirardelli because you can see the speaker tower. Over here you have your high post 3 on the boat, right? So she thinks the high post 3 in the poem are the tall posts on this ship, right? And then she also says, hey, education and justice, which are poems in the, the poem in the book, is Alcatraz over here. And then not far away to this Ghirardelli, right here is Galileo High School. And so she's saying, hey, if you're at this Ghirardelli, the next three lines are kind of putting you in the right spot. You got Alcatraz right in front of you. You got Galileo over here, and you could see your high post 3, which is a great little image of it. So afterwards, she's looking at sounds in the sky near Aces High, which I already told you in the picture she thinks is this speaker tower and this speaker tower. And with if you've never seen anything with this treasure hunt, one thing I noticed with the solved ones, because people have found some of these treasures, is they're relatively close to each other. And I really like how she's keeping everything in the same area. So you got Ghirardelli, the high school here, you got Alcatraz across the bay, which is a little ways away. But, you could see it all. All these clues are pretty close. So it's like, the breadcrumb trail leading you from one step to another. So right here we have the speaker towers, which she said is sound in the sky near Aces High. And right next to the museum, so you're at Ghirardelli, you have the museum where they used to stand on the roof. And you have the speaker tower right here. There's a bocce ball court. And she thinks that aces high, the line aces high, has to do with bocce ball, because you would say an ace is a high score when your ball is like the closest in the rules, which I don't play bocce ball, but it makes sense that ace would be associated with it because ace is, used in other games like poker or tennis. So I could see that being a very plausible idea. So the next couple lines are running north but first across in Jules' direction are an object of Twain's attention. So she's, on this street right here, or maybe this street right here is what she's saying. So she's like up the hill from Ghirardelli, basically. Whether it's this street, she's up the hill from Ghirardelli. And so she's saying she's running north, right? And you would have to run because if you've ever been to San Francisco, these are very steep inclines. So she's saying you have to go down the road. And so she's saying running north, but first across in Jules' direction is an object of Twain's attention. And she's talking about this steamboat over here. And if you're not a fan of Mark Twain, which I really wasn't until I got into this treasure hunt, over here by this boat, I can't really see it in this Google image, but over here parked is an historic steamboat. So when you go down this little walkway here, they just have it parked right over here, and it looks like, for whatever reason in this image, I can't see it, but right next to the boat where it's high post 3 is a steamboat. And the old steamboat, right, which Mark Twain loved steamboats, and he loved them so much that he was not only a pilot, but he said that, he would rather pilot those forever than do anything. And she points this out whenever she emailed me kind of the details of this. She's like, that steamboat's got to be it. And I agree with her. I think that, if the author of The Secret is talking about Mark Twain, if you look him up, steamboats are like the number one thing you find. So we're getting to the end of this, where the poem's leading you. And so, after you have in Jules' direction, meaning the pearl's direction, an object of Twain's attention, you have the lines, giant pole, giant step, to the place the casket's kept. So you're kind of still in this area. And this is where a lot of people, because a lot of people like this area, get kind of stuck. Well, what Linda thinks is, after doing a lot of walking around, she's lucky enough to live, in San Jose, which is just a stone's throw from San Francisco. She believes that it's the bocce ball court. And the reason she thinks it's buried somewhere in the bocce ball court is because at this bocce ball court, you can't really see it here in Google Earth, there's a gigantic flagpole. And the last lines are giant pole, giant step. So she thinks this flagpole, which was actually put there in the late 70s, early 80s when this guy was going around and burying these treasures, is where it's at. And she also points out from people she talked to, I don't know if it's just people who manage the park, I know she does that, or people in the museum, but at the time, and this is the tallest pole that was in the area. It was just this gigantic flagpole that's located right over here where the bocce ball court is. And she said that the giant step, as she lined the pole up as if it was like laying on the ground, like the pole was the reference, like that pole was the distance. And then she ended up over to the wall, which she calls the acorn wall by the last speaker, right? And then she said she looked at the image in the book and the acorn base popped out of the image. And then she said, okay, I know I'm in the right area, but where now? And there's blocks all over the place. There's blocks here, blocks here, blocks here. Well, she said over here in this area, she counted the blocks, just like the blocks that are on the sleeves in the image. So if you have the image, and you can get it from Google, and I showed it earlier so you can reference it. There are blocks on the sleeve. And she counted the blocks where the fingers were pointing, 4 up and 3 down. And she's like, that's where I am. And the 4th block up on the acorn wall. Now, she also points out that, she hasn't dug this up. But I don't think that the problem is she doesn't know where it's at, because I feel like if she could probe around there, she'd be good to go. She'd be able to find it. If it is there. Nobody actually knows exactly where these things are at. But except for the people that found him, of course. But she is a huge advocate of trying to get permission. She follows all the rules. I know that in the groups that we're in, she always says, "Hey, I'm trying to get permission here. I'm trying to get permission here." Because the thing is if you do think you know where it's at and you go and you dig it up illegally, you're gonna get fined and they're just gonna take it from you. So the last thing that Linda showed me is how the yellow paperwork in the map guys tells you to go to the shore rocks. The purple dots mean nautical also, warning jellyfish, and the bay has plenty of those. So she actually just left me some kind of little hints here and there, but I'm gonna end it over there at the bocce ball court because maybe she told us everything she knows, but I think it's wise to maybe keep a little hint here and there for yourself, so that way you don't share all your secrets, but you can get the juices flowing in other people's brains. And actually, when she emailed me this, it was actually really cool. It says Linda Spaulding, and then maybe this is just her email handle or whatever you call it afterwards, and it says knowledge speaks and wisdom listens. Kindness is the language which the deaf can hear and the blind can see. Mark Twain. She referenced Mark Twain. So I actually want to thank Linda a lot. And I'm a big advocate of The Secret, especially the San Francisco area. And I think it's really, really cool that she shared her ideas with me. And she's very involved with this. And just like me, she wants to share her ideas with the community and just get these things found. Once again, Linda, cool. Thank you so much. Hopefully I portrayed your ideas the way you wanted them. If there's any problems, I don't even mind making another quick video and adding to this if you have some more ideas. And if anybody else is interested in X marks the spot, this is kind of how I'm going to lay out the videos. Now with The Secret, this is a little bit of a longer video because, there's a lot of steps to this. The poems are pretty big. There's, you got to look at the artwork. And I even ran through this pretty fast. So I didn't even take my time. I just kind of flew through it. But with this channel, it's any armchair treasure hunt, that's going on. And I know there's individuals in the community that I've reached out to that do treasure hunts in different states. So if it's a state treasure hunt that you're trying to do, maybe it's, a metal detecting tournament or something like that you have going on in your community. Hey, maybe, a good place for individuals to go rock hunting or maybe, go gold panning if it's just somebody and their kid and they just want to go out and practice and, hey, there's luck there. Maybe you're not going to find anything, but it's just a great area to, kind of develop the skills. Luckily, I think all the treasure hunting communities do this a little bit, but I just kind of wanted to start talking about these things and introducing people like Linda, because she's a very smart individual and she's very dedicated to this treasure hunt, and she's super helpful to me. Anytime I've reached out to her, she's talked to me and we share ideas, and she has a great attitude. And so I'm super grateful that she let me do this and reached out to me. And if you're the person that wants to be on this X marks the spot video playlist and you just have something you want to tell the community, please let me know. I actually have about 2 pending videos. I'm just waiting for them to get more information. One about The Secret and then one about an actual old buried treasure that seems pretty cool. I just need to get more details and make sure that's not too fake, verify the legend a little bit. But I look forward to any feedback on this video, any way I can improve, and be kind to Linda. If you don't think that this treasure's buried at Aquatic Bay, she at least was brave enough to throw her ideas out there and get some of the criticism, but there's no need to be hurtful, but engage and give her feedback. And I appreciate you guys for giving me your time. Once again, with Treasure Trail, if you go to the playlist X marks the spot, I'm going to be posting videos like this where it's all thing treasure hunting. So thanks, and you guys have a good one. Bye.